What is up, everybody? J Nell here with my UFC 161 recap video. Let's get right into it. I thought this would be one of my worst outings ever, but 3 out of 5. Okay, let's get into it. I picked Jake Shields to beat Tyron Woodley. He did. Decision in favor of Shields. This was not an exciting fight, y'all. Sorry. Woodley won the first round, but then he gassed. He was huge. His thighs were huge. I'm like, dude, you're a welterweight, man. He was probably too big. He might have overtrained for this, and he just gassed. Shields, he's a vet, was able to kind of take over then. He was going for the takedown, didn't land it, but in doing so was able to push him up against the fence, sturdy boxing, and point his way to a victory. So who do you want to see Shields fight next? Who do you want to see Woodley fight next? Because I don't think he's going to make this mistake again. I think he'll come back and have a better performance. So who do you want to see both of these men fight next? Next up, I picked Shawn Jordan to beat Pat Barry. He did first round. Woo! Heavy hand. You knew someone was going to get knocked out in this one, and it was Pat Barry. Shawn, he was a series of uppercuts. The second one caught him good, knocked him to his knees. Pat Barry was on his knees. Shawn Jordan swarmed. Heavy hands. The ref had to throw his body in between them to stop the fight. So, yeah, who do you want to see Shawn Jordan fight next? I have a suggestion, but not yet. Next up, I picked Alexis Smith to beat Rosie Sexton. She did. Decision in favor of Smith. I agree. Basically, she had Rosie in danger for majority of the fight, most of the fight. So in the first round, she basically had her in a triangle / armbar, trying to submit her for basically the whole round. Now, in that submission, Rosie was able to land some bombs. Heavy hands, but again, she was the one in more trouble for majority of the round, and that's kind of how the whole fight went. In the second round, Smith was actually able to get on top and drop some bombs, ground and pound, plus more submission attempts. She is a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, very high-level black belt, and she showcased that. Rosie's very tough. Both these ladies are tough. So who do you want to see them both fight next? Again, Smith, they're all going for that bantamweight title, so they're gunning for your Miss Ronda Rousey. Next up, we have the co-main event, Roy Nelson versus Stipe Miocic. I picked it for Roy Nelson. Okay. Roy Nelson, boy, did you mess up. I almost swore. He really messed up on Saturday, man. Okay. Not only did Roy lose, he got his ass whooped. I meant major swear last time, not minor swear. He got his ass whooped by the kid. You don't take anyone lightly. Okay, I'm not taking anything away from this kid. He came prepared. This was the biggest fight of his career. He was in shape. He had a good game plan. He stayed away from Roy Nelson's big, heavy hands, and he beat him up. He beat him up for 3 rounds. Roy gassed in the first round. He just fought 6 weeks ago. He should have been in fighting shape. But of course, to quote Joe Rogan, well, that depends on how many cheeseburgers he's had in the last 6 weeks. Well, too many damn cheeseburgers, Roy. Oh my goodness. The first round, halfway into the first round, he had his arms by his sides. He was breathing heavily, mouth wide open, totally gassed. Totally gassed by the first round. So for the rest of the fight, Miocic just picked him apart, danced around him, landed clean combinations, clean unblocked to the face, clean knees to the face, busted him up, bloody. This was a colossal mistake by Roy Nelson. He turned down a contract offered to him by Dana White, saying, I'm going to save your pay-per-view first, and then we can negotiate my contract. And then he loses. So he'll probably sign at less money. And he was on an upward trajectory towards a title shot, and then, you know, he's 36. Colossal mistake. Holy crap. So who do you want to see them both fight next? I was saying with Shawn Jordan, maybe Miocic. I don't know. Give me your suggestions. What do you think about this, man? Colossal mistake. Next up, main event. I did not get this pick as well. I picked it for Dan Henderson. He lost. Split decision in favor of Rashad Evans. I agree with the decision. However, if it would have went in favor of Henderson, I would have agreed with that too. What I don't agree with, someone answer this, why was it only 3 rounds? I thought all main events, whether it was for a title or not, were supposed to be 5 rounds. And that's my biggest beef with this fight, is that it needed 2 more rounds. At the end of this fight, both men still had something. They had it left. There was no blood, no busted up. It was a good fight. Okay, they didn't patty cake their way through it. They went for it. But they fought 5-round fights before. We got 2 ex-champions here. In Pride, Dan Henderson did 10-minute first rounds. They had something left. If we had 2 more rounds, I think there would have been a more clear decision. Okay? So that's my biggest beef. Someone answer me, do they know why it was only 3 rounds? Was it a decision agreed upon by the fighters? That's what I think. Have they changed this rule with the UFC? I don't agree if they did. So that's my biggest beef. All right, first round went to Dan Henderson. He got a sweet little knockdown with a left hook to Rashad. He clearly won that round. He also landed more shots. Second round for me could have went either way. Rashad started going for takedowns. He only got 1, but in going for the takedowns, he forced Dan to get on the defensive, so he was no longer throwing them bombs. And Rashad was able to, again, with the dirty boxing, he was able to point his way to a victory. In the third round, I thought Rashad actually clearly won the third round. So, again, it needed 2 more rounds. That's my biggest beef. Let me know what you thought of this whole event. Let me know if you know why it was only 3 rounds. What about Roy? What the, man? All right. That's my recap, y'all. Take care and goodbye.